Good morning. Good morning. I hope you guys are all doing well. We're going to give it one more minute. I still see the numbers kind of rising, so we want to give folks a little bit of time to jump in, and then we'll get started. And I'm going to go ahead and just welcome you. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to join us today on this webinar. My name is Cathy Tyler. I'm the Director of Workforce Development here at NCCER. For those of you that know me that are on here, I don't like the webinar setup. I usually like to be able to talk to you guys. So regular Zooms are typically the way we go. And it's a little difficult on this end to be talking to myself. I like it whenever you guys are communicating back and asking questions. So again, it's a little difficult for me because I like that interaction. But really, really glad that you took the time today to join us. We know you guys are very, very busy. We are super excited about the changes and the launches of systems and functionality that we're going to be able to talk to you about in both this part 1 and then also our part 2 webinar. If you are only registered for part 1, please make sure you go and sign up for part 2. I'm going to be kicking off kind of the changes to our guidelines, terminology, and processes. And then Allison Butts is going to share in part 2. She's going to be able to show you what your logins are going to look like, kind of what some of those new system efficiencies are going to look like, how everything is accessible through your account. And so you want to make sure that you sign up for both of these webinars. I do want to acknowledge, what we're going to go through today is going to be a lot of words. This is going to be a lot of updates, a lot of changes. Again, I think a lot of this will make sense. Some of it I will not have to repeat because we are going to be talking through both the training and the assessment side of the house. Devin is on the other end of the Q&A. She will be answering questions just as quickly as she can. If we do not get to all of the questions, we will absolutely be publishing back a series of FAQs that will answer all of the questions that you've asked. And we'll again be available to follow up with you privately after this. But again, publishing out those FAQs on our support site so that you can take a look at those. We will be providing copies of the PowerPoint a little later this week. In addition, we will also be posting the best of our recordings so that folks can go back and watch these again or share these out if individuals are not able to attend. So again, thank you so much. I'm excited to share a lot of what we're going to be talking about. So many great things that will change your program, streamline your processes. And so with that, we're going to get started. So first, we're going to talk about some of those terminology changes. We're going to talk about the training side of the house first. If you are an existing accredited training sponsor, you will now be recognized as an accredited organization or an accredited training program. Just a simple terminology change, more recognizing that you're accredited and that you're training, so an accredited training program. If you are the current sponsor representative, you will now be called the training program director or the director. This role does require training, very similar to what you've gone through as a sponsor representative. If you are changing out a director, or if you're a brand new organization, that training is going to be assigned by the NCCER Workforce Development Team. If you're the secondary sponsor representative, you are now going to be called the training program manager. I'm really excited about this. So many organizations have asked throughout the past years, can I have more than one secondary to help me run my program? Now you can. With our new launch at the end of the July, you will be able to assign as many program managers as you would like to help to support your program. They will need to go through training. You would sign them up for their training if you are the director of the program, but this is going to allow them to help you manage all of your registered training programs or manage just the program at your home base. And so we're really excited that we're going to be allowing more than one person to serve in this role. If you have current training units or our older designations of accredited training units or accredited training and education facilities, they are all going to be called a registered training program in the future. So these are those registered programs underneath your sponsorship or your accreditation. We're going to identify them by if they're a contractor, they're a corrections or a high school or a post-secondary program that you're overseeing, but they will now be called registered training programs. The people that were that contact, that training unit representative at those training units prior, they are now going to be called program contacts. These people are assigned by the director or the manager. And while training is not required, we absolutely think you should educate them on what do you want them to be able to do at that program to help you oversee. They're going to be able to do some things within the system. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. But the idea is that you are in contact with that training program contact. You are utilizing them to help you oversee that program and to ensure integrity and to make sure that the effectiveness of that program is exactly what you need that to be. So that program contact is going to be a very key important role moving forward. And then for our guidelines, we've called them the accredited training sponsor guidelines in the past. We have now updated that to call these the accreditation standards for training. So let's move on to the assessment side of the house. Very, very similar, just changing the terminology. You were an accredited assessment center. You're now an accredited organization, or you're an accredited assessment program. Your primary administrators are going to be those assessment program directors. Secondary administrators will be assessment program managers, and I can have as many managers as I need to help me manage my assessment program. Authorized assessment sites are now called registered assessment programs under your accreditation. They will also have a program contact, no longer the AAS rep, but they will now be the program contact that is going to be assigned by that director or manager. And again, no training is required. However, we think you need to educate that individual to make sure that they are supporting your program, helping you to oversee the integrity of that program, and you provide them with that direction and that training. And then the guidelines. They used to be called the Accredited Assessment Center Guidelines and NCCER procedures. In the future, these are the accreditation standards for the NCCER. So all of this terminology that we're talking about is going to be updated in the accreditation standards, in all of our curriculum. If you're utilizing current master trainers, the ICTP and the evaluator and proctor, those are going to be updated. All of our online trainings will be updated with this terminology. So you can understand that this is going to be kind of full sail updates to all of our products and services. So here is terminology changes that affect both programs. Again, the guidelines are now accreditation standards. So because of our testing and the purchases of testing, we have had to identify billing contacts. And you guys have all kind of been in contact with NCCER about providing us with the appropriate billing contact that's going to be receiving invoices and paying invoices. In our future release at the end of July, these will be called the accounts payable role. This is the individual that's going to be responsible for paying invoices. They're going to have an NCCER account. They're going to be assigned this role, and they're going to have access to what we're going to call as the pay my bill button from within the NCCER account. So if you have individuals that have a current billing contact now, they will be moved over to this accounts payable role in the future. And so again, These are the people that will receive those invoices and pay the bills that are due on the accounts, all the way down to the registered training program. So if I am a sponsor that oversees high schools, if I'm that accredited org, I need to make sure that I've got the appropriate billing contact at those schools to receive and pay invoices. Super excited about our instructor toolbox that is already released and available out on the website, but it is that new resource available for our accredited programs. In the future, when I log into my NCCER account, certified individuals are going to see the instructor toolbox available right from within their account. And then based on my role or my certification, if I am an instructor and I'm teaching core and carpentry, I'm going to have access to the lesson plans, the PowerPoints, the performance profile packets. If I'm on the assessment side, I'm going to have access to my PV packets. There'll be video resources and much more that we're going to be making available through this instructor toolbox. So really excited that you'll have a direct access to that from within your NCCER account based on your role with the accredited organization. So we currently have our NCCER LMS, or our learning management system. When we launched all of our online trainings for instructors and proctors and evaluators, and now for all of our pipeline training courses, we have those in our LMS. In the future, that's going to be called our learning platform. It's where individuals are going to go to access their online training. So that's those personnel certifications, those pipeline trainings. This is also where in the future, instructors, proctors are going to assign and deliver module tests. All will happen from within the learning platform. And it is going to also be accessed through that NCCER account. When we launched online testing, the questions that came next were, when are you launching a performance app? When can I enter and capture performance in real time? So we are going to be launching our performance app as well. This is going to be available to our NCCER accredited programs. It's going to be accessible through the NCCER account. So I'm going to see this button that says performance evaluations. As an instructor, as an evaluator, as a practical examiner in the future, this is where I'm going to log in and I'm going to be able to administer performance profiles. If I have created my group in testing and online testing, my group will import into the performance app, and I'll be able to evaluate performance for up to 5 individuals at a time, capturing real time. They've started their performance, they've completed the task, they have passed it, I check the box, or if training is recommended, I'm also able to indicate that. And there are reminders set up within the system. So really, really excited about the performance app. It's not something that requires a download. It's online, web-based, and can be accessed through a phone, through a tablet, through a desktop. And all of these things that we've been talking about for paying the bills, the toolbox, the learning platform, the app, Allison will be showing these items in the Part 2 webinar. So make sure that you guys are registering for that so that you can actually see what some of these systems and updates look like. Purchaser. The purchaser is a brand new role in our system. These are individuals that are going to be responsible for making purchases on behalf of the organization. They're going to be required to create an NCCER account, as this role is required if someone's going to be purchasing those testing subscriptions in advance for your organization through our NCCER store. So the Make Purchases button is going to be accessible from within an individual's NCCER account when they have been made the purchaser within the system. So that is a brand new role under the accredited organization. So registration release form and responsibilities and liabilities forms. I am so excited to say that you will no longer have to keep these in a paper format. Now, let me also say, any that you have prior that are in paper, you still need to keep those for audit purposes. But at the end of July, when we launch our new systems, individuals will be creating their own NCCER account. This is every person that will be interacting with NCCER systems, processes. They will have to create an account. Allison's going to show you guys that account in her presentation, but they're going to log in. And I shouldn't say log in, there will be a button, or Allison is also, they're going to be creating resources, a QR code, a poster that someone can just click on that QR code and it's going to take them directly to the create an account page. The individual is going to enter information like their first name and their last name and whatever alt ID they choose, an email address, their date of birth, their place of birth, nothing that they cannot do. And when they create their account, they're going to get their NCCER number. So we highly recommend that you are doing this as part of registration, first day of class. The student can simply take a snapshot of their card number and give that to you, their NCCER number, or they're going to get an email and they could forward that NCCER number to you. But there is a terms and conditions section that everyone must agree to and affirm before they can finish creating their account. That is going to take the place of registration release forms and responsibilities and liabilities forms. If you are corrections, we have been messaging out to you that we will be creating a way for you guys to be able to create card numbers and accounts for your individuals in a different manner. It will not be online just because those individuals will not be able to access online, but we will be communicating out how your users in the correctional facilities will be able to create their accounts and get NCCER numbers in the future. So really excited about less paper, less documentation moving forward. And I didn't even really say this around the performance app. Because you're collecting that data in the app, you also will no longer have to have those performance profile forms. We will still have them so that you can prepare for the performance profile. You can, prepare and make sure you've got all the equipment and tools and materials. I could still capture it on paper if I'd like to, but then I'm going to have a place that I can go into the app and submit those. Or again, you're going to have the ability to capture performance real time, and that eliminates the need for all paper performance profiles moving forward. So we're no longer going to be auditing those either. So no more paper performance profiles or registration release or responsibilities and liabilities forms. So really streamlining processes for you as an accredited organization. So the registry system, we're no longer going to reference this term. You'll no longer be logging into the registry system to do any of your NCCER business. Right now, you log into your account, and typically you would click on the registry system button to go there to do business. All work is going to be done directly from within an individual's account in the future. So no longer utilizing the registry system for NCCER management of programs or for any kind of real work in that system. And then we're no longer really going to refer to the term registry. We're going to simply state that NCCER has a secure online database that allows individuals and employers to track and verify industry recognized credentials and certifications. So we just don't want to create confusion as we move into our new print on demand credentials, as we move out of kind of the registry and into my NCCER account. We're kind of just eliminating those registry words to eliminate that confusion. So single sign-on, SSO, we're just referring to individuals' NCCER accounts. So one of the things that also comes up is typically NCCER used to require 18 years and younger to sign the registration release form and have their parents sign that. we are no longer going to require that. So if your organization does, you should absolutely, put into place whatever you need to collect parent signatures and approvals, but we are no longer going to require that. So I wanted to point that out just in case that question should come up. So I just put this slide together just to show the current org structure for accredited training sponsors and accredited assessment centers, and then what the new under the accredited training program and accredited assessment program, what those personnel titles and just kind of what that structure looks like. So this is just a reference for you. No real, training on that needed. So let's talk about the accreditation standards for training, those old guidelines, and what is new and different. So one of the things that I streamlined out of this presentation was the fact that we've already talked about terminology, role and org names, updates to terms and definitions, the fact that secondary sponsor representatives are now managers and you can have as many as you need, that they have to go to training. And so one of the things I'm going to say is that we are not going to cover all of that again. All of those changes have been made in both the training and the assessment standards. And I'm not going to cover those. Now, when I do share out the PowerPoint presentation, all of that is listed, but I just didn't feel like we needed to go over that again since we just talked through it. So I want to cover in the standards what's different that we haven't already talked about. So let's start with sections 2.3.1 and 2.4.1. Now the standards have not been published yet. They will be published shortly before our launch in July. So we will have updated documents for you that you can download electronically, or if you like to purchase a hard copy, they will be available from within the store. But last year we updated Instructor and Curriculum Performance Evaluator eligibility and qualification requirements. So let me talk through what that means. If I've got an instructor that is going to teach all 4 levels of welding or pipe fitting or millwright or whatever that might be, we are going to require that instructor or that evaluator, if they're evaluating all the levels, have journey level knowledge and experience in their craft. However, if I am a high school, or if I am a post-secondary institution, or if I'm, an association or organization that I need someone to teach, maybe I just need core and level 1 and maybe level 2 of a craft to be taught. I am absolutely able to hire someone that has the appropriate knowledge and experience, time in the field to teach just core and level 1, or maybe it's just level 1 and level 2. Or maybe it's just specific modules out of the craft. If the individual has the appropriate experience and knowledge to do that, you can absolutely put them through instructor training or evaluator training and hire them to teach just the specific levels or modules that you see fit for your organization based on their experience. So you are able to do that. That opens up some flexibility for you and your programs and for who you can bring in to teach and to help you run your program. So that was changed last year. It is updated even a little clearer in the standards this year, but we just wanted to make that something that we covered so that you could actually hear us talking about it. We did add a section that NCCER will recognize that accredited departments of education and community college systems have state mandated or formal policies and procedures for the hiring of instructors and evaluators within their NCCER type programs. And so we went out to our accredited departments of education and our community college systems, and we asked them to provide us with documentation on what do you require for someone to teach your carpentry program or to teach your welding program. And what we found is that most of the time they are requiring something very similar to NCCER, or perhaps even more specific than NCCER for the teaching within their programs. And so from that point, we are not going to necessarily, from an accredited Department of Ed or community college system, you know, if I'm a DOE that has 230 schools underneath me, that sponsor rep does not need to collect a resume for every single instructor under that Department of Education, or the same for the community college. If we know the standard by which they hire, we are going to honor that and understand that those programs have the appropriate instructors put into place to teach those programs. So that we put clearly into the guidelines, into the standards. See, I'm going to have trouble with that too, into the standards. We did support sunset the support role. Now that you are able to have as many program managers as you need, and those program contacts at your registered either training or assessment programs have the ability to do more, we no longer need the support role. So that has been sunset. Instructor, curriculum performance evaluators, and module test proctors certification. There is a different process by which certification happens if you are using NCCER's learning platform. So let's just say that Cindy Necessary is going to sign me up for instructor training. So Cindy's going to go into her NCCER account. She's going to go into the learning platform, and she is going to assign Cathy Tyler to the full-fledged ICTP. At the time that she signs me up for my training, she's also going to indicate that Cathy is going to be teaching at XYZ High School. So I'm going to choose the location or locations that Cathy would be teaching, and then I'm going to assign the appropriate training that she's going to be taking. So then I am going to take my training. Cathy's going to take her training. When I successfully complete that, I'm called certified. I'm a certified instructor. I may be a certified evaluator, but I don't have anything that's really been approved for me. I've not been assigned what craft I'm going to be teaching or evaluating. So what Cindy has to do is log back in. She's going to go to the personnel button within in program management. So these are new things that are going to happen. So within your account, you also have a program management area. And under program management, you're going to see your registered training programs, and you're going to see your program personnel. So under program personnel, Cathy Tyler would appear waiting for approval and waiting for activation as an instructor. So Cindy will log in. She's going to choose me. She's going to see Cathy's going to be teaching core and carpentry. So she's going to assign core and carpentry, and she's going to approve me. What that's going to do is give me automatic access for online testing. It's going to give me automatic access into that performance area. Going to give me what I need access to in the instructor toolbox. So a much more efficient process for activating and certifying instructors and proctors and evaluators within our systems. Where you used to go to in the registry to your what crafts am I going to be offering at my accredited organization? I have to go and pick, I'm going to choose core, and I'm going to choose carpentry. And every time a new version came out, you'd have to go add that version. No longer do you have to do that. You simply are going to assign the craft to the individual as you activate their credentialing and their ability to be instructors or evaluators within the system. So really excited about those efficiencies for you guys. And managers, directors, and program contacts can do this. So that's something that we'll need to talk about a little bit later, about choosing wisely the people that you've put in these roles. And then recertification, instructors, evaluators, and proctors. Proctors in the past did not have to recertify. We are changing that up. So what will happen is NCCER is going to develop, put out professional development training through our learning platform for instructors and evaluators and proctors. So more to come on this. That has not been completely fleshed out and finalized. We will be extending certifications for a bit to accommodate a time frame to really appropriately look at what would we want professional development to look like within our systems, and to be able to put this into place. So we're excited that we'll be able to offer professional development as part of recertification. MOUs. Memorandums of understanding are required between the accredited organization and any registered training programs under their sponsorship. The reason for that is there is an expectation that I should be able to come in and audit that program. I should be able to come in and visit the instructors and the students and evaluate the effectiveness of the training programs that are registered under my accreditation. One of the things that we have put into place is that under an accredited Department of Education or an accredited community college system, we are not requiring MOUs. That is your DOE, that is your college system. We don't need MOUs for those, nor do we need those for departments of corrections that are accredited that have a few sites. You've got a director, you can have as many managers as you need, but we don't need those signed MOUs from within the same system. Also, if I am a contractor, I am Worley, and I have 10 job sites going on, and I've assigned the appropriate, whether it's a program manager or contact at that site, I don't need a MOU within my own organization's job sites. So where this will be required is for all others. If I am an association overseeing high schools, if I am an association overseeing maybe prison programs, or I'm a contractor overseeing high schools, or I am a community college overseeing high schools, MOUs will still be required for those situations. The accounts payable role is assigned down to the registered training program. These individuals are who receive those monthly invoices. That is a requirement, so we just need to keep that in mind. We removed the section on the testing system. All tests are going to be assigned in the learning platform. Online testing is no longer a new thing. If you are those departments of corrections that are unable to access any online web-based platform, we will still have a way for you all to submit your tests and your performance. Information will be coming to you on that, but testing system was removed. In order for individuals to update their social security number or their alt ID or their name in the systems, they will be able to log into their own account and do this. And so changing their first name and their alt ID can be done within the account. Changes to their last name will just come through our customer service department. So information on that will be found in the support site. We didn't feel like we needed to outline that in the accreditation standards. Credentials, we're going to talk about this a little bit more, but NCCER cards will now be available at the completion of 2 or more training modules. So we're no longer going to only be sending cards out. And in fact, credentialing as a whole is going to be print on demand. So we're going to talk about that in our process changes, and we'll get there shortly. But outlined in the standards, cards will be available for an individual to log into their account and claim after they have completed 2 or more training modules. And then transcripts will be available for printing once they complete 1 or more training modules. And they can do this from within their NCCER account. So really excited about the opportunity for cards to be available earlier, and then for print on demand. Certificates will be able to be printed on demand as well if someone completes a full level of training. So excited about some of those changes that offer some efficiencies for you guys as the accredited org. So accredited organization program setup. Management of people certified under your accredited organization. We've been reaching out to you and saying, guys, look at your people tab in the registry. Make sure it's up to date. Make sure that people are are there that should be there. And if they're not, remove them. Here's why. You know, when we migrate all the data, if those individuals are on your people tab, their certifications are still active, they have access to do business under your accreditation and under your accounts. So in your new account management, which Allison will show, I have a program management button and I have a program personnel button. If someone shows up on that page, they have access to do business under your accreditation. So you guys managing that, keeping that up to date, deactivating, associating, adding is very, very important. You must maintain your certified and your people list, program personnel, maintain that as often as possible. The same with your registered training programs. If it is active in the system, but you no longer work with them, you need to deactivate it, or anybody affiliated with that training program in the system is still able to conduct business under your accreditation. You will be directly responsible for that in an audit. So making sure that program management is part of your, your activities, very, very important. Evaluations of certified personnel. In the secondary and post-secondary institutions, instructors, they are evaluated on a regular basis by their deans and their principals. NCCER is no longer going to require additional evaluations. Now, if I am overseeing a high school or a post-secondary program, I would absolutely want to be as involved as possible. The whole idea is that you're recruiting out of those programs, you are providing as assistance to make sure those programs are robust and ensuring that we have the next pipeline of individuals coming into the construction industry. So your engagement at those institutions for high schools and community colleges, super important. But we're no longer going to require additional evaluations be done or audited. So that is a different change that we have not had in the past. Audits of their programs, so we've got evaluations are one thing, and then audits of the locations. You should absolutely be auditing a location when you first add them on, making sure they've got equipment and materials. We're not going to require formal audits under those accredited departments of education and community college systems. They should be in and out of those programs on a daily basis, on a monthly basis, whatever that looks like. So we're not going to require accredited DOEs and community college systems to fill out site audit documentation after that first initial visit to make sure that they're set up and they're ready to go. Because of all the changes, registration release forms, responsibilities and liabilities forms, no more performance profiles and module tests, other than a few corrections. We've updated that record keeping section, and then also, updated the audit section to match record keeping. So those are the changes that were a little bit different for the training side of the house. Organizations that still have master trainers, you're still able to utilize those individuals to teach ICTP, evaluator and proctor, administer certification tests in the learning platform. We're going to have a way for you to submit those certifications manually. And again, those corrections programs, we're going to have a way for you to do your business as well, to certify individuals, module tests, performance profiles, enter that data in. We will have a way for you to do that as well. So a lot of the same information, I'm not going to dive as deep because I do want to get to process changes. So for assessments, endorsement application process, if you are a mobile crane operator, rigger signal person, all of those operator certification programs where there used to be applications and the registry and a lot of different paperwork and different ways to do that, it's now going to be an endorsement application that is accessible through your NCCER account. It's going to be managed by the accredited assessment center. They will be updating and doing what needs to be looked at to say, yes, this person qualifies. But all of this work around our endorsements is going to change and be more active on the assessment center side, less waiting for approvals from NCCER. So we're really excited about those changes. Again, we'd already sunset that administrator and master trainer role. All training for proctors and evaluators is done through NCCER's online training. So now we've just additionally sunset the support role because of the managers and the program contacts and their ability to do things. Certification is the same on this side of the house. If Brent Bean is going to sign me up to take my evaluator course within the learning platform, he's going to assign me to which location I'll be conducting evaluations. When I'm done, I'm certified. He's going to log into program management under the people. He's going to identify me and say, Cathy is going to be an evaluator for pipe fitting. He's going to approve me and activate me, and that's going to give me access to all of the systems that I need to conduct business. So very efficient, very easy process for certification of individuals. Recertification, the same here for proctors, evaluators, and practical examiners. This will be done through professional development training that NCCER will put out through our learning platform. More information will be coming on that. Accounts payable roles, the same, must be assigned down to the registered program level. Changes to Social Security, again, all through the account, other than for that last name, which they'll need to come to NCCER. Credentials can be requested by the individual at the time that they complete their journey level assessment or their performance verification. So through their account, they can go in and ask for NCCER to send their card directly to them at their home. No more you having to manage that if you don't want to. And then accredited organization program setup. Again, that people tab, my program personnel tab, and then my registered assessment program tab. Maintaining that for accuracy, making sure that only the people and the locations that you want to do business under your accreditation have access to systems. And that is where you're going to manage those programs set up within your account. And then we've updated record keeping, registration release forms, responsibilities and liabilities forms. No more completed PV forms, because PV will also be able to be submitted through our performance app. So really excited about that. And then, of course, we've updated that audit section for record keeping. So very similar changes for both the training and the assessment side of our accreditation standards. Practical examiner certification requirements. We moved all of the practical examiner training into our learning platform last year. So exclusively delivered through our learning platform. Practical examiners now complete their prerequisite assessment. They can do that either before or after they attend the practical examiner training course, because no matter what, I have to do all of this in order to receive that certification and that designation as a practical examiner. So it doesn't really matter if I take the practical examiner course. If I do, it just sits there until I've completed the assessment and until I have uploaded my photos and all the things that are needed for me to become that practical examiner. We have removed the performance component of practical examiner training. So that is an update to this program that will be launched at the end of July. And then some of those procedures. All the forms, terms and conditions, as we talked about before, they're replaced by the terms and conditions. So no longer signing of all the paper, R&Rs and the responsibilities and liabilities forms. Certification candidates will complete an electronic affirmation through our platform. And this replaces that application for mobile crane and rigor signal practical examinations. So all of those were completed previously in the registry. So the affirmations and all of the parts that you need to fill out in order to qualify are all done through the new platform in the NCCER account. And then candidates will upload photos directly into their account profile. So this eliminates that need and that process of approvals, because it has to be done before any of the certifications or the credentials, any of that will be completed. And so I can upload my photo into my account. And that's actually going to be available for anyone. Anyone wants their photo on their NCCER card in the future, they can do that. So that's kind of an exciting new cool thing that we'll have available as well. This is exciting. Process changes. I'm really thrilled with some of these changes, and we've got 15 minutes to get through these. If any of you teach your role in the green environment, alternative energy, weatherization, you know that in the past you've had to go download that specific specialty exam, give that, and then upload that back. No longer are we requiring any of that. You will simply evaluate that individual's resume as you do for anything else to qualify them to teach these roles. So no longer are there the extra steps around specialty exams for these particular credentials to be able to teach these courses. So excited about that. In the future, you guys as directors and managers will have to attend professional development training as well. Maybe it will be something like this, where you're learning about updates and changes and system efficiencies. We may do something a little different in the future to provide you with professional development. Maybe we'll put something together that speaks directly to what you do for NCCER. So we will be putting that together, more to come on this, but we're excited to offer professional development opportunities for all of our folks that have roles within our systems. Instructor certification. If I am an NCCER certified instructor, before I got instructor certification, curriculum performance evaluator, and module test proctor. No longer. I'm just getting instructor. It allows me to proctor tests and allows me to conduct performance evaluations. I'm not going to have 3 separate certifications that go together. So one certification that allows me to do all the things that I need to do. Printing of credentials will be on demand. So when we launch all of our new stuff at the end of July, if you would like to opt in for credential printing, you can. From within your program account, the organization's account, there will be a button that I can simply turn on that says, I would like NCCER to send me credentials like they always have. And this will actually be specific to each and every program. So if I am Troy Bourne at the Louisiana Department of Education, and I've got 45, 50 schools underneath me, each program contact at those schools can go in and say, yes, I want credentials sent directly to the school, or no, we don't want credentials sent, because what we're going to do is let the students know that the minute that they've got 2 completions, they can go claim their own card and have it sent directly to them at their home. They can print their own transcript. They'll be able to print their own training prescriptions, score reports. They're going to have the ability from within their account to do many more things than they ever have in the past. So if I tend to get my credentials late after students have already left and I have no way to get them, the opportunity to educate your students along the way, to tell them, go claim your own credentials here, you can do that. So a lot of flexibility in print on demand. And so we're really excited to say, you know, if you don't want all that, you can just simply not opt in for credentials and let your individuals that are in training know you can go claim and have NCCER send your credentials directly to you. So that's again a new option. Reports. There will be reports available from within the NCCER account. Program personnel will be able to pull score reports, training prescriptions, program reports. Individuals, again, will be able to print their own training prescriptions. So all of these things that I'm talking about here with print on demand and reporting, Allison will be showing where those are from within your NCCER dashboard or your NCCER account. So make sure you do sign up for part 2, because you'll get to see a lot of what I'm teeing up from within this presentation. Instructors and evaluator certifications, those are issued at the completion of training. Again, you no longer have to go into the registry and go, I'm going to add these crafts to my tab. Like, I don't have to do that anymore. It is managed as part of the activation process by the individual, by what they are certified or eligible, qualified to teach. So the director, the manager, or the program contact, when they log in to their program account, to their personnel, when they see the person sitting there waiting to be activated, they assign the craft there. So that's really exciting. That's a change. That's also going to happen even on the evaluator side for assessments, is I'm going to assign the craft at that point. So all individuals interacted in NCCER systems have to have their own account. And again, I already said this, we recommend that if you are a high school, you've got a program, you do this as part of registration. If I am an association, my first night is filling out paperwork, or maybe it's people come in and they're signing up and they fill out paperwork. Have them create their account, whether it's they snap a photo of it when they get their number or they forward an email, but make this a part of your registration process so that you are lessening the complication of gathering that NCCER number later. So for both training and assessment, directors, managers, and program contacts, this is what I was going to say, they are able to do the following at registered training programs they're assigned to. They can register individuals for certification training. So if I'm just a program contact at a high school, I could sign someone up for training as an instructor, I'm going to have access to do things. But your director or your manager is going to identify what you as a program contact are allowed to do at your registered training program. There's got to be very clear communication, very clear expectations, and you really want to be very thoughtful about who you put in these roles. They can approve and assign the crafts for those to complete their training. They can add already certified individuals to the registered program. They can make updates and changes to the registered program's contact information. Now, let me say, it's whatever they're assigned to as a program contact. If they're the program contact at a high school under the DOE, they're not able to make changes at the DOE level or at any other program, but just at the one that they are assigned as the program contact. So choose wisely, plan education for those individuals to ensure that they understand their role. This is one that I think if you are an instructor and you've done this, crafts and titles for module tests and performance profiles and versions in the testing system. If I gave a electrical, the 2017 version of a test, and I submitted the 2020 performance profile, I'm not getting a module completion. In the future, that will not matter. Whatever version of the test I gave for electrical, I submit the same performance profile for at least the number. It's module one. Maybe these are two, maybe I chose the wrong version. They will still marry up and complete the module completion. So all of the cleanup that has been happening because I've chosen the wrong, maybe I chose a Spanish module. I need, we had to be very clear, choose the exact same version in the future. That will not matter. Those will marry up and create the module completion. So we are really excited about that. That is an efficiency and just a pain point that we are excited to alleviate as we move forward. if any of you accessed the short task-based testing system videos that Allison's team put out a couple of years ago that we still reference today. If I'm a new user to the testing system, go here and go look at these less than 4-minute videos that tell me how to do a particular task in our testing system. We are going to be launching very similar product tours for all of our new systems, very high level navigation through the learning platform, through the performance app, through the toolbox. Here's where I find things in the support portal. So those are being developed now to be released in our support portal so that you will have an ability to go through those product tours. We're no longer requiring testing system training as part of certification. We're no longer going to be providing assessment platform training. We're not going to need that. These systems have efficiencies. They are easy to navigate, and you're going to have these great product tours that walk you through navigation. Allison is going to show you how similar many of our systems are to one another. So we're really excited that we're not making such drastic changes to how you do business. Things are going to look similar and familiar. Just I'm going to access them through my account. Slight changes, updated look and feel, but really efficient processes for you. So the last few slides, which I'm not going to go through, are updates to, if you're master trainer and you're delivering ICTP as a master trainer, here's what's going to be changed in the print and even the online. Curriculum Performance Evaluator. Here's what the changes are. So I've outlined these for you. We've just updated sections. I am going to provide those out. I don't feel the need to go through them here because they're everything that we've been talking about. We've removed references to the registry. We've updated, what specific things mean. We've changed things to training program director and assessment program manager. So I don't feel like we need to go through all of those. I did just see a question that I want to answer. Retroactive. So in the testing system, if I have a version of a test and a performance profile that don't match, I think we will be loading the last 3 versions of a curriculum into the system. So yes, it will be a little retroactive. It will clean up some of the things that are in there now. So I did confirm that yesterday because that's a question that came up is, will that be retroactive? And it will, to a certain point. We're not going to go back to something from 2002 and try to fix that. But if it's within the last few years, the last couple versions, we are going to try to make that as efficient as possible and clean up some of those things that did not align. So, print stuff is going to be available as soon as we can in July so that you guys can start purchasing those. They're at the printers now. Few more updates and tweaks to be made, but we're going to try to make those available in early July so that you guys can start ordering them. So I will say that, Devin, if there's anything else that you feel was highly important that we address on here that we can't get to, let me know. I don't know if I can hear you today. Can I hear you today?
I don't know. Can you hear me?
Yay, yes.
Yay. I think I got all 3 of the questions, Cathy. I did ask a couple of people to just send me a personal email so we can give them a phone call and just better explain.
Sure.
Some of the answers would have been a bit lengthy, and so I just think a phone call will do them well. If you guys have any additional questions, please feel free to reach out to Cathy or myself. We'll be more than happy to either answer that question or get you to the person that can. And
don't forget, part 2 may answer a ton of your questions because you're going to see things, and Allison is going to really be diving in a little deeper on all the things that we've talked about today. So that's the beauty of this, is I was able to tee it up with some of the boring stuff, and Allison gets all the exciting stuff. She gets to show you what it all looks like and some of the cool stuff. So I think hand in hand, the policy and the process, and then you're going to actually be able to see some of what we talked about today in part 2. So go back to that webinars page if you've not done so. Make sure you sign up for part 2. We'll offer these again both months in June, and eventually these will be out for you guys to see. For anybody that's attended, I think you're going to get to see a webinar posted for you to be able to access. But get your instructors, get your evaluators, get anybody else that has anything to do with the program to join. Doesn't hurt to have everyone hear it, be able to ask a different kind of question, to be educated on the changes. It'll help you not have to be the one and only at your organization if we're able to help deliver some of that information to them. And I promise we're not going to steer them wrong. So, let us help you do that. And again, it's a full hour. Thank you for taking the time. I know it's a lot of information. We'll get this shared out. Thank you for your attention, your questions, and for everything that you're doing out there. We greatly appreciate you. And we will absolutely, yes, there'll be quick check. Yes, there will. I just saw it pop up over there. No, but again, thanks so much for all you're doing. Let us know if you've got questions, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.